Hello dear students, good morning to all. In the last period, what we have studied, the French society during the late 18th century, the society structure, then the subsistence crisis, and then we have seen the growing middle class envisages and end to privileges, the half part of this particular point. First of all, I would like to tell the meaning of envisage, the growing middle class envisage and to privileges. Privileges means exemption from paying taxes, because we have seen in the last period the first and second state. It means noblemen and clergymen, they were exempted from paying taxes. It means the state government, French government, was not asking to force two estates to pay tax. So obviously, the third estate people, they had to pay tax. That story we know. But what were the exemptions? Exemption of feudal dues to the nobility and the first estate people. Now those privileges will come to an end. Why? Because a new middle class which has been created in the French society through overseas trade, they started spreading an innovative idea among the common people. Envisage means to shape the society in such a way with modern thoughts, with equality, equal laws. Such ideas were spreaded by the middle class people in the French society, and because of such ideas, the privileges which first and second estate people were getting, it came to an end. Dear children, we have seen during the time of subsistence crisis, the price of bread, which was the staple food of the most of the French people, it has increased, so the common people could not purchase it. And as I said, what was the meaning of subsistence crisis? When such a situation when the basic means of livelihood are endangered, when you don't get to eat something, that situation is called subsistence crisis, and which had happened constantly in the France during the time of old regime. The peasants, workers, they revolted against the French government several times in the past regarding the low wages and increase in the food prices. But every time the peasants, workers, they did not succeed because there were no proper means program which can lead them and change the social and economic order. So I mean to say, the peasants and workers who revolted in the past, but they did not see any kind of change in the social and economic order, and this was left for the people of third estate, and they started the revolution. Those third estate people who earned the immense wealth by doing overseas trade. The 18th century, the new class which is created, termed as middle class, those middle class people who travel to the other countries, the different continent, they traded with the other continent people, earned immense wealth, they purchased different kinds of products like silk, woolen, textiles, and they started selling in their native country at high prices to the richest member of the society. Through this trade, they have earned immense wealth. So, in addition to those merchants and manufacturers and traders, the administrative officials, lawyers, philosophers, those people also started talking about the privileges. Those people started saying that No one should get the privileges by birth, which the first and second people were getting. So the people from third estate, like merchants, traders, manufacturers, in addition to those people, philosophers, they started criticizing the system of privileges which the first and second estate people were getting. And they said one of the democratic thought, they put forward that no person should be privileged by birth, rather than the person's social position should be judged by his merit. This was one of the democratic thought which carried out by John Locke and the philosopher like Jean-Jacques Rousseau. John Locke, in his book, The Two Treatises of Government, very important, the name of book is Two Treatises of Government, he sought to refute the doctrine of divine and absolute monarchy. It means the absolute power of monarch over the society and the supremacy of clergy people over the society that is strictly criticized in his book, The Two Treatises of Government. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who has proposed a new kind of government based on the people, between people and their representatives, the government based on the social contract between people and their representatives, a new idea who has blessed it, like philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Montesquieu, in his book The Spirit of Laws, he proposed a new style of government. He divided the power of government into three different units like legislature, executive and judiciary. He proposed such kind of division among the government, and such kind of government means, what kind of government is that? As like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, as he proposed a new kind of government, the government between people and their representatives. Among the government, division of power by Montesquieu in his book The Spirit of Laws, like legislature, executive and judiciary. This new kind of government is implemented in those 13 American colonies after gaining the independence from the Britain. The American Constitution, which has given the guarantee of individual rights, it was really very helpful for the philosophers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Montesquieu, John Locke. Those people were spreading such revolutionary ideas among the common people. Later on, the ideas of those philosophers were spreaded in the countryside, in the town, in the form of books, newspapers, even though the ideas of those philosophers were discussed in the coffee shops, saloons, and spreaded through newspapers, pamphlets, books. And the people, those who could not read and write, for them open reading was held for their beneficial, so they may understand the revolutionary ideas by those philosophers. And people became very angry when the Louis XVI said that he is going to increase taxes to meet the regular expenses of the French state. And because of this, people became very much angry, and later on the outbreak of revolution will take place, that we will see in the next video. In this particular video lecture, what we have studied, a growing middle class envisaged and end to privileges. In the 18th century, a new social group emerged who were known as the middle class. They had become rich through expansion of overseas trade. They traveled across the country. They traded with the other continent people, earned immense wealth. Those traders, manufacturers, businessmen were in the middle class. In addition to merchants and traders, there were lawyers and administrative officials were there, and they were also supported by the administrative officials and philosophers. who were educated and believed that no person should be privileged by birth, but their position should be depend on the merit. They demanded an end to privileges. Philosophers like Jean Locke, Rousseau, Montesquieu believed in a society based on freedom, equal laws, and opportunities for all. Such democratic thoughts were placed by the philosophers like John Locke, Jean Rousseau, and Montesquieu. Later on, Rousseau proposed a government based on the social contract between the people and the representatives. Similarly, Montesquieu proposed a division of power within the government between legislative, executive, and judiciary. In USA, the model of government was put into force when those 13 American colonies declared their independence. And here the news came that Louis XVI planned to impose further taxes. And so people from the third estate became very much angry, and then the outbreak of revolution will take place, that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you very much.